Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how New World broke itself. And trust me when I say this, that is not an exaggeration, and it's not a clickbait title in any shape or form. There's been many videos about New World recently talking about the drop in players and how drastic it is. And I bet a few people who don't really play New World are wondering as to why. Is it lack of endgame content? Did it turn out that the game had a pay-to-win in-game shop? It's none of that. No, the game is just broken. Okay, and when I say broken, I don't mean there's a few bugs here and there. I mean the foundation of the game's programming is totally broken. It is broken from the ground up. This is why every time they introduce a new patch to fix a new set of bugs, well, guess what? New bugs appear magically out of nowhere. It's like almost trying to fix a car with domestic appliances like a spoon or a rolling pin. Asking the developers of New World to fix their game is like asking a hairdresser to fix the NASA space station right now. Let me give you a little taste of what I'm talking about for people who are kind of out the loop and not been playing New World. So one of the biggest exploits to appear so far is the ability to make your character totally invincible. You won't take damage from enemies in the open world or from players, right? And the way to do it is to do something as simple as moving the in-game window when you're in windowed mode. That's all you have to do. If something so simple can break the game on such a drastic level, obviously there is something drastically wrong. And something as game-breaking as this you'd expect to be fixed pretty quickly. Well, the way that they fixed it at first was to just totally disable windowed mode, rather than actually fixing it. So that tells you that they had to do some real serious work to fix such a simple thing like that. For me, it is just a huge red flag when, a developer has to turn off a feature rather than quickly fixing it. And it happens a lot. A number of systems in New World just get disabled until they are fixed. I mean, to me, that is totally unheard of from playing World of Warcraft for, nearly 20 years. I've never heard of something like that happening, where something gets turned off in the game. There's also been a number of different gold dupes since the launch of the game. In fact, every week there seems to be a new gold dupe for players to take advantage of. I think there's one in the game right now, actually. So at first, server transfers were doing it. There was actually an automatic gold dupe that happened unintentionally to some people who weren't trying to exploit the game when a town's controlling faction changed. You had town board, I don't know what the hell I said there, town board quests that have been exploited. Basically, you put items on the trading post, and then for some reason you can magically turn in the item you put on the trading post to a town board quest, and then when you go back to a trading post, the item's still there. So effectively you can duplicate the items. People have been doing all kinds of crazy stuff by exploiting wars a lot, like kicking inviting people repeatedly would force a victory. You can also make the enemy team lag out if you just continuously spammed AoE abilities. You can mass report someone in the game like you can in World of Warcraft and get them banned for 24 hours. And people were using this to ban guild leaders on the enemy faction, straight before a war would happen. This actually happened to me in my guild. My GM got banned for 24 days. And guess what? He got so angry with it, he just quit the game and the guild disbanded. And guess what? That's happening to a lot of guilds right now. There were other bugs like auto run always gets turned off. I'm pretty sure that if this is still happening in the game as well. Whenever you loot an item that someone else is looting, it will just bug the game out and you can't auto run anymore, which is very frustrating. And just the lists of bugs and exploits goes on and on and on, and it never really seems to end. Okay? When one set of exploits and bugs are fixed, more appear. Okay? It's like trying to cut the head off a hydra, or trying to cut weeds in a garden. More weeds just appear out of everywhere. Personally, I just find this very confusing. Quite frankly, bamboozling, actually. I mean, this game is supposed to have a financial backing of Amazon, one of the richest companies in the world. It simply doesn't make sense how this game, first of all, took so long to make in the first place, didn't have thorough testing before release, and therefore released totally unfinished. It's pretty obvious by now that Amazon either didn't invest enough money into making New World, or they did spend a lot of money on the project, but the developers that they recruited was simply inadequate or inexperienced? I mean, we can only speculate to a true answer to that question. Maybe it'll be revealed later on. I see this as a hugely missed opportunity. If I had invested the money into making a really good product with New World, people would have been absolutely blown away, and New World and Amazon would have become the most badass and impressive underdog of the gaming industry, you know, the new kid on the block. They would have built such a strong reputation, which would help them financially in a good way long term. But now, if a new Amazon game comes out, I mean, nobody in their right mind is going to trust that product. And you know what? It is a terrible shame. Because, I mean, I'll show you right now. I've got 200 hours in New World now. As you can see here, I thoroughly have enjoyed the game. I feel like I got my money's worth out of it now. The gameplay was great. I loved all the open world PvP, the wars, the invasions. I loved all the content, but the problem is, it's just an unfinished, buggy mess. It's tragic, almost. It really does seem like that every game that comes out these days is either broken or unfinished, or it's a re-release, okay? And even re-releases like the new Grand Theft Auto re-releases are totally broken, right? Since when did game developers become such cheapskate, lazy buffoons? It's probably because they are pressured by people higher in their company and shareholders, or because they can actually make more money by hyping up an unfinished game by investing in good marketing, rather than investing money into actually making a finished game. Which is the sad, cold, stale truth about the gaming industry of this generation. I mean, now we have companies that release the same game 5 times over, rather than releasing a new installment. Obviously I'm talking about Skyrim with that one, which is, again, also bamboozling. It feels like games these days have as much passion and life to them as like the latest Hoover or smoothie blender or toaster, right? They are just a product that makes money. That's it. Like the artistic appreciation of video games just seems to be slowly fading away. Okay, and that's a very dark thought to end on, so here's a picture of my girlfriend's dog. But anyway, until my next video, ciao.